Hey guys, this is Nate the Effing Great here for the Game Changer. Before we get too deep into this episode, I just wanted to offer my thoughts and condolences to the people of Las Vegas. Last night there was a bit of mass chaos there where there was a shooting involved. And over 20 people are dead and 100 plus are injured. This is just another horrible series of events that have gone on in America, and hoping that sooner rather than later these events stop, because this is literally tearing our nation apart. It's really sad to see this, and my thoughts and condolences and prayers go out to everybody that's affected by these shootings. So I wanted to say that before the show. Thank you, and to you guys in Las Vegas, stand strong. Stay strong. We're here for you. What is going on, guys? This is Nate the Effing Great for the Game Changer here on Spreaker.com. You can always find me on Facebook, on Facebook.com/Changing Up the Game, as well as on Twitter at Real Effing Game. This episode is going to be a bit of an interesting one, because usually when I talk about subjects like this, I usually have my co-host Victory Bell here giving her insight and giving her knowledge. Now, unfortunately, she has been busy with a lot of other projects, such as conventions, making new costumes, so giving her a little bit of time off so that way she can focus more on that. But a lot of rumors have been escalating on so many different origin movies. I mean, there's even stuff regarding Marvel, about them possibly acquiring the X-Men, a possible Star Wars crossover, but there's a lot of news that does go into DC, but also something that I think needs to happen is another solo movie that involves a certain villainess, you might say. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. The first piece of business to talk about is the fact that they are actually considering a Joker solo origin movie. This is a bit of a risky movie, to say the least. There's a lot of people that are pretty mellow about it, especially after they saw how Wonder Woman was done, but one movie does not make up for a lot of really bad ones. Although, in all fairness, a lot of the origin movies that they've created, where it's just one solo movie, really have actually been pretty good. I mean, The Dark Knight was actually really good. Batman Begins was great. I think the Superman movies are always just going to be very hard to do, because I guess they have a really certain standard on what Superman is really done. They have an Aquaman, they have The Flash, they have so many other movies that they are planning for this year, and Joker is one of them. The thing about the Joker is that his origins are very complicated. There's a lot of different ways that they could definitely do this. Now, they could do this as, maybe he was grown up with a horrible childhood, he got some kind of accident that made him go crazy. So there's something like that, but also you have to be very careful with this, because Joker especially in The Dark Knight, they showed him not having any sort of, identification. They didn't have him have any kind of name other than that. So his background is very complex. Now, one of the YouTubers that I actually got a chance to watch, the Jovenshire, actually suggested the idea, as well as brought up a point that there was actually one storyline that involved Joker being in 3 different forms. Basically, there were 3 Jokers. There was obviously the original, and there were 2 more that really just made it impossible for them to narrow down to who was the original Joker, which is actually not a bad idea. Now, for a Joker's origin movie, one thing that Jovenshire really hit the nail on the head about was they had to find a way to really tie this in with the current DCU universe, Marvel DC movie universe. Because here's the thing: Jared Leto is going to be the Joker, and he's more than likely going to be the Joker in the Harley Quinn solo, which I want to kind of get into in just a bit. But how would you really do a Joker Origins deal? Well, one idea that was actually very well thought out and could really possibly happen is have the original Joker take out Jason Todd, or basically, beat him down to the point where even though this Joker died, another Joker is going to take his place. And Jason Todd, a lot of people remember him as the second Robin, also known as Red Hood, was beaten so bad that his brain was basically like mush. They made him so he hated the Batman, that he thought he himself was the Joker. It was honestly a very good, elaborate, idea. And this could be a great way to have the original Joker, or the younger Joker, and then transition him into the Jared Leto Joker. I mean, you could say Jared Leto could be Jason Todd. You could have him be the third incarnation of Joker. Who knows? And while I've actually criticized Joker a bit in the Suicide Squad, the thing about it is that I never really got a chance to see him that much. In the Suicide Squad, they more focused on the squad itself. As far as Joker goes, combined totals was probably about, I want to say 10-15 minutes of the film featured the Joker, so I never really got a grasp into it. So I might give Joker a little bit more leeway. But one thing that I will admit is that I did not like how they really showed off the relationship between Harley Quinn and the Joker. But again, we'll get into that in just a bit. One question that's always been asked is who would be the best person to play this younger Joker, or play one of the origins of the Joker? Well, a lot of people have shown interest, and there's a lot of people that have actually suggested ideas. Here are actually 4 people who probably could play the Joker well. First one that's at the top of the list definitely is Leonardo DiCaprio. The Oscar-winning guy definitely would have a difficult time probably going from a bit of a serious role to one that's very crazy, very maniacal, but I think that his experience might be able to give him that transition into being this new Joker. Another name that I would throw out there would be Elijah Wood. I love a lot of what Elijah Wood has done. His roles in the King of the Ring movies, the original, not the King of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, oh my gosh, let the hate mail begin. His original works with Lord of the Rings was really good. I loved him in the TV series Wilfred. I thought that his character was very well done. He's done a lot of other movies such as Sin City. He definitely could have that making of just this maniacal guy. He definitely has that face that could look like it could be completely serious, but then as soon as you turn to a smile, you know he's going to do something absolutely insane. I would love to see Elijah Wood actually in this origin deal, and who knows, it might lead on to something bigger and better. Will Poulter, a lot of people that may not know that name, he was actually involved in, I believe it was Pan's Labyrinth, if I'm not mistaken, as well as Meet the Millers. He has the facial qualities, I think, that really do see the connection of what a Joker could be. And plus, the way that he's kind of like this shy and very quiet role. It would definitely be good to see him have that breakout role and be the Joker who is, standoutish, who is always out there causing chaos and mayhem. I would actually really love to see that. That would just be absolutely amazing. The final one being Bill Skarsgård, and a lot of people know him as Pennywise from the new Stephen King remake, It. Goes without saying that the way that Bill did Pennywise was absolutely terrifying, was absolutely just innovative, and it's definitely something that we have not seen. And he definitely was more intimidating, to say the least. So I would definitely put Bill, I would probably put Elijah Wood and Bill at the top of my list. Will and Leonardo I would definitely have as kind of the backups. No disrespect to either one of them. I just think that Bill and Elijah Wood are just that well done. They can definitely play the crazy aspect, bring that crazy aspect of what the Joker can do. Alright, so that's my thoughts of the Joker deal. Let's move on to, like I said before, the fact that Harley Quinn might possibly get a solo movie. I believe that they're actually planning a Joker and Harley Quinn movie known as Gotham Sirens, I believe that it's known as. And the thing about Harley Quinn is that I got the chance to watch the animated series Batman and Harley Quinn, and I definitely saw Harley Quinn in a different light than what I normally see her as. She definitely is a lot more crazy, but also has like a playfulness to her. She can be very manipulative, she can be very smart, very cunning. It's one of those characters that you just can't help but kind of want in your life, because a lot of people know exactly what Harley Quinn went through. I mean, it just would be really good to have a little more in-depth. And obviously, with Suicide Squad, they only presented Harley Quinzel in the whole deal where she breaks out the Joker and then falls in love with him. They definitely did something with that. But like I said, the issue I had was how they really brought the relationship with Joker and with Harley Quinn. The way that they just made it seem like they were actually in love, when in reality, I've seen in a lot of comic book series and a lot of videos, Joker more used Harley for his gain. That's the only thing. It was never really a matter of, does he love him? She definitely loves him. It's just one of those things where this is how Joker is. And I highly doubt that the Jared Leto Joker is one of those guys where it's like, well, he's just using these feelings to really get what he wants from Harley Quinn. I don't think that's how it was really prescribed. They really made it like into a romantic deal. And of course, with that kind of, couple, that's going to lead a lot of DC fans to be like, oh, I want a relationship like that, when in reality they need to remember, yeah, that's a different version from what they had in the comics. Because obviously, Joker was very abusive, and then when finally Harley, turns on the Joker, he would just, of course, be that, but mutton chops, but you're lovely, but this, I love you, don't you ever, he just really did something like that. It never really was one of those things where it's like, they were truly in love, unless maybe for one moment they were, but for the majority of it, it was more that Joker and Harley Quinn were it was just a one-sided deal, where Harley Quinn was 100% doing all the work to make this relationship work, and Joker, he was focused more on other, projects like killing Batman, taking over Gotham, making everybody pay. Just more on that, and not really as much as doing the whole Harley Quinn deal. But anyway, going back to the Harley Quinn deal, there is actually rumors of Margot Robbie actually being one of the major producers on here, and there's a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation that she has actually been reading a lot of the DC material, getting an idea of what Harley Quinn was like, what her background was like, everything that she had to go through. In all honesty, it was very, very interesting to see that, and it's great to see that when you're having a directing crew, whether it be a producer, whether it be an executive whether it be the director itself, if they have a full appreciation for what a character is, whether that be from a comic book standpoint, from a movie standpoint, just appreciating the character as is and giving it due justice, I give it a shot. I really do. I am hoping that this Harley Quinn movie definitely does a great job. She definitely was one of the finer points of Suicide Squad. And as far as the movie is concerned, there are rumors that it may be coming out in 2019, the earliest, but the latest at 2021. So about a 3-year ideal release date here. So it's not going to be coming out anytime soon, but it may in fact be coming out sooner. There may be some kind of announcement about it sooner rather than later. We'll see as 2018 rolls on if they actually make the announcement or even if there's a trailer for it. Final thing to talk about as far as DC Comics goes is I really want to see them do an origin movie about Poison Ivy. In all honesty, this is one of those supervillains, I should say, who really don't get that much credit or really don't get that much in the way of just like anything really. The last time that we saw Poison Ivy in a major motion picture film was, of course, Batman and Robin. And, of course, everybody knows how I feel about that movie. Oh, God, George Clooney, why do you destroy everything that I hate? It just... Uma Thurman did a pretty good job, but as far as who Poison Ivy was, I don't really think that she embraced that entirely. I would really love to see somebody really come out and just enjoy and just really, just really kind of, just enjoy it. Let it be natural. Let it be something interesting. And as far as who I think would play the role of Poison Ivy, there are a lot of people that kind of come to mind, but I also had to look at some research and think about, well, who exactly do people want to see? And one of my favorite places to look is moviepilot.com, and they actually did a top 5 list as to who they think should be the Poison Ivy if they do the Poison Ivy solo movie. Now, I looked at a couple of them, and I saw at least a couple that really could. I saw a few names in there that definitely could be in that realm. One of them, Amber Heard. A lot of people might remember that name from. Well, they're definitely not going to remember that name from Welcome to Zombieland. She was one of the minor roles. She was the blonde girl that came into. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember Jesse Eisenberg's name during that movie. I can't even remember it anymore. But a lot of other roles that she definitely kind of stood out was Never Back Down, Pineapple Express, The Informer, Stepfather, The Joneses, The Ward, Drive Angry, Rum Diary. She was apparently also part of Magic Mike XXL. Wow, The Danish Girl, and she will actually be playing Mira in the upcoming super film The Justice League. I gotta look at this now. See here. Oh, okay. This will be interesting. Well, so much for that theory of having Amber Heard playing Poison Ivy. So I think we're going to have to rule her out for that. Deborah Ann Wall is a very interesting, another interesting one that they put up there. Deborah Ann Wall, for those of you that don't know, played Karen Page in the Daredevil series on Netflix. So she definitely, I saw the first episode, she definitely has this kind of, quiet, timid personality at first, which is good because how Poison Ivy starts off, she is definitely very quiet, very shy, very timid. She's kind of like that girl next door kind of, girl to start off as, and then when she starts becoming Poison Ivy, that's when she starts getting a little more confidence and she gets a little more sexual. She starts just becoming a little more, a different person, which is always nice to see. So when I base these ideas, I really want them to, be one of those people that you could definitely see be that shy type, but then also be that stand-outish role at the end. And Deborah Ann Woll definitely would be one of them. Another one being Eva Green, who was in the TV series on Netflix, Penny Dreadful as Evie. I want to get the name right. Let me see here. And, well, I guess it also is kind of funny that her name is Evie Green. So, funny thing to call her, for her to be Poison Ivy and also have the name of Evie Green. She was Vanessa Ives in Penny Dreadful. Okay, it was Showtime. Okay, I thought for some reason it was on Netflix. The main ones that I would really love to see. One that I think would be a interesting choice, and if WWE is totally for it, I would love it. I would love to see Peyton Royce play the role of Poison Ivy. She definitely has the beauty, and she definitely could play that very quiet, timid role, and also have that $10 deal. If you haven't gotten a chance to look at her stuff in NXT, you definitely can see how she could definitely be the one to embrace the Poison Ivy role. But the main one that I would really love to see, and this would be a very big time risk, but at the same time, again, fully fits everything that I would want to see in Poison Ivy. That being Emma Stone. Emma Stone definitely does a great job of being that very nervous, very timid and shy person, and then next thing you know, she can flip a switch and become the arrogant, the confident, the very well-spoken person. And I really would love to see Emma Stone play Poison Ivy. That would be the top at my list. She's got the look, she's got the definite characteristics that Poison Ivy has, and I'm hoping that people are not going to say, well, no, Poison Ivy was as skinny as a twig. No, I wouldn't go that far. She's definitely just got I think the body type is all that really matters. I would not like to see her as skinny as a twig. I'd love to see just a little more meat on the bones. Oh boy, well, there goes the PG rating. So yeah, those are the 5 people that I would like to see play. Well, now 4, I should say. Amber Heard is now out of the question. So yeah, that's going to be it for DC. Let's go into my brand, Marvel, and we got to kick off with this. The fact that Marvel may in fact be buying X-Men back and bringing them back into their fold. Now, this I've seen has had some mixed criticism, mixed reactions, I should say. Because on the one hand, a lot of people would really love to see, X-Men come back to the Marvel side. Maybe they get involved in the whole idea of possibly, getting involved in the Infinity War, which would be very interesting to say the least. I mean, obviously they're not going to have Wolverine anymore, but they'll definitely have some new characters. And for Marvel to gain back the X-Men after obviously having to sell off, Spider-Man and the X-Men to Sony Pictures and to Lionsgate, all these different, movie theater, all these different, theater companies, it would really be good to have the kind of backup financially that Disney can definitely provide. So one of the other things that a lot of people definitely really brought up was that they probably would have a hard time doing X-Men movies, especially when they bring in Deadpool, because Deadpool, he's always swearing and he's always doing sexy deals. Deadpool is almost the opposite of what Disney really is. And a lot of people are saying well, I don't want to see Deadpool go from saying, gosh damn, god damn it to, god darn it, just, going to a PG era deal. And I was worried about that at first, but then I remember watching Spider-Man Homecoming. And one of the things that really made me kind of have that sigh of relief is the fact that Michelle, aka MJ, during the homecoming dance scene, she actually looked at Peter, she waves at him, and then, gives her the bird. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, so they definitely could still go down that route. They still could have Deadpool be the same as he is. And come on, let's face it, who wouldn't want to see a Deadpool and Spider-Man crossover? I mean, come on. It's a bromancer in the making. And it would be interesting to see Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland oh, man. I'm just getting that visual in my head, and in honesty, it's funny. It's just one of those things where I don't see them, having like this, lovey-dovey kind of deal, but I see Ryan Reynolds just kind of like being so pushy and just go forward with everything, and then having Tom Holland just be like, whoa, hey, back off there, buddy, and then Ryan just plays off like, oh, yeah, totally, I totally get it. You can just say, it's just something that I would love to see, and it would just be absolutely amazing. So I would really like to see it. And plus, they have that new X-Men, I think, The Rise of the Dark Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken, which is basically a spin-off movie where they're basically talking about new kids having these powers and, basically finding out that they are mutants. It would really be good to have that financial support to be able to hopefully, get the right people, get the right set design, get the right animators. Just having that would be amazing. So I am really hoping that X-Men does go back to Marvel. And I'm still praying that hopefully Deadpool still stays rated R. Although you have to remember that they have gone as far as PG-13 Pirates of the Caribbean. So there's still some good signs that Deadpool is still going to be the same that it's always been. The other interesting news was that Stan Lee suggested this idea. Well, I don't know if it's really suggested, but said that eventually there would be a Star Wars and Marvel crossover. I could see where he would think that because, of course, Star Wars is science fiction and they're fighting in the random parts of the universe, and maybe in a random part of the universe they run into possibly the Guardians of the Galaxy, somebody like that. I just don't know how I really feel about that. Because here is the thing. Star Wars and Marvel, especially with Guardians of the Galaxy, they're just two different, very different things. Marvel is more about, kind of some realism to it. I think some of the human characteristics are definitely there, that you could definitely suggest the idea of Star Wars and Marvel being there. But I just don't... Okay, so here's the way I would see it. If they do this Star Wars and Marvel crossover, what I would really love to see, I want them to do this on a very much smaller scale. Don't make this into like a 6 movie deal. Don't make this into something where it's just gonna pop out of nowhere. No. I would much rather see it be something that's aired on television as like a mini-series movies, or just something that maybe it's like in a comic book deal. That I would be okay with. If they do it on like a grander scale, that's going to be tough. Because I think a lot of people will probably riot at that. They're just two different things. They're just really two different things, and they're too different to really explain. Because then how are you going to explain, the Force in the Marvel Universe? How are you going to explain all of these different relations that Star Wars people have into the Marvel Universe? And vice versa. How are you going to explain, how like somebody like Drax or somebody could be in the Star Wars universe? It just seems way too complicated. I would just leave well enough alone, keep those two separated, because it just seems like it's going to be a lot of work to even explain how they would cross over, and they're just way too different to really be messed with. So I would just leave them alone and don't do anything crazy. Alright, so last thing, and I saved this for a reason, because I am looking forward to this, and it may be coming out next year. Rumors are it's going to be coming out in October 2018. I am looking forward to this. I am talking about a Venom origin movie. Now, obviously, the last thing that I remember about Venom is, oh dear God, Spider-Man 3 and Topher Grace. Good Lord, when I saw that, I literally felt like Spider-Man was just completely done after that. And then, of course, there was, the Amazing Spider-Man, which was okay. And then the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Okay, then. That was a thing. This is one of those things I am very looking forward to seeing. And they picked the right person to really play the role of Eddie Brock in Tom Hardy. A lot of people might remember him as Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. And what's also very interesting, side note, he's actually also featured in Star Wars The Last Jedi as a First Order Stormtrooper, but he's not credited for it. Same thing with, I'm trying to remember, who's the guy who plays James Bond? He was the First Order Stormtrooper in Force Awakens. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Daniel Craig, there we go. I'm looking forward to the origin story here. And it looks like with this Venom movie is that they may actually have this take place in a different universe. They're not actually they're not even going to tie it in with the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe, which is an interesting choice. I kind of looked at it like, kind of wondering why they're doing that. But at the same time, I looked at it like, okay, I can understand why they do that. And it's really kind of interesting how they might be doing this. I think Tom Hardy, like I said, is going to be a great Venom. He definitely looks like somebody who would be that guy who, compared to Peter Parker, could beat him physically, no problem. But when you have him with the Venom suit, it's like, oh, crap. It's just one of those things where it's stop. With Topher Grace, it was like, I'm pretty sure Tobey Maguire could kick Topher Grace's ass. And then he had the Venom suit on. It's like, okay, he's got a little more power. Nope, still kicked his ass. Saw that coming. But another thing that really I'm excited about this is that the fact that they are going to have, Venom, a solo movie for Venom, is that this could definitely open up the possibility of having Carnage be a part of this as well. Because a lot of people know that with Venom, he actually spawned Carnage because I think it was, I'm trying to remember what it was. I think that the symbiote was getting just more and more power, and then it just, duplicated itself into something more sinister and something more, something more evil, bottom line. So, the fact that there may be a chance that we're going to see Carnage, I am totally excited for that. And what I would love to see, this is my number one pick, even still to this day, I would really love to see Jim Carrey play Cletus Cassidy, because in all honesty, he's the perfect role. He really is. Jim Carrey would be the best person to play Cletus Cassidy. I don't know if this would be a good number two, but one name that definitely kind of hit me of who else could play Cletus Cassidy was Casey Affleck. He just definitely looks like one of those guys who could have that crazy kind of look in his eye and just, probably want to just kill somebody just for fun. It's just one of those roles I think that Casey Affleck might actually do good at. I would really like to see that. The only role, of course, that I've seen him was Manchester by the Sea. I had to see it because it was Oscar season. And I would really just love to see it. I think it would just be pretty amazing. So that is going to wrap it up for this edition of The Game Changer. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. By all means, leave me some more suggestions on what you think I should cover in the future. Talking about DC and Marvel Comics is really, really fun, actually. Now, obviously, we may be covering these again in future episodes with, myself or Victory Bell or possibly, Project X Amazon. So many other people that I could definitely talk about with this. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, or give me a kind of feel of what you guys want me to cover next, either on the Facebook fan page or follow me on Twitter and leave me a suggestion there. That's going to wrap it up for this edition, you guys. So thank you so much for your time, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters.